Hello, my name is Dr. Cale Stoley, and welcome to Doane's Virtual STEM Day. Normally, we have STEM Day in person. Last year, due to the COVID situation, we decided to take STEM Day into a virtual environment. This gave us a few opportunities because it allowed us to live stream this video and put this video in classrooms and put this video in the hands of prospective students as well. We decided to do that again this year with the COVID situation being what it is. It's probably not best to bring a bunch of students onto campus. So instead, we are once again doing this in a virtual environment. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is our major focus for this STEM Day, which is careers in STEM. A lot of high school students, a lot of younger individuals don't really know what kind of opportunities they can have when it comes to STEM. I certainly was in that boat when I was in high school. I knew of a few jobs, I may have known some people who were doing things in STEM, but ultimately when it came down to it, I didn't know what all opportunities were available to me. We're going to be talking to some students who are currently at Doane University who have had some experience from several different STEM areas, and they're going to give us a little bit more insight into the kinds of careers that are available in STEM. All of this is under their own compulsion. They're going to be speaking on their own behalf. I'll ask them questions. I haven't given them any prompts as to what they should say. So hopefully this is helpful for you in understanding careers in STEM in general. So if you are considering a career in STEM, hopefully this can give you some information, give you some insight for the direction you need to go. Now, along with this live stream, we will be producing some videos and putting them into a playlist. The link is in the description to this video. Those videos, we're still working on uploading them, but they will be available, and they do discuss more things from a faculty perspective on careers in Doane. We as faculty members have extensive experience dealing with students, seeing where students go on in their careers. So for us, we can speak really well to the career atmosphere for a lot of our individual areas. So like I said, those videos will be uploaded. We'll try to be getting them uploaded within the next month. So if you are looking for another resource for some discussion for a very specific topic in STEM, you can refer to those videos and hopefully they can get you some information. Aside from that, the individuals who are in those videos, you can contact them directly because we are always willing to answer questions about STEM. This is something that we're all passionate about. That's why we became professors. So our first guest today is Helen. He is a math and data analytics major here at Doane. Helen has had a number of interesting projects. He's had an internship, and I just want to speak to Helen today and get a little bit of information about him. So first of all, thank you for coming onto the live stream, Helen.
Yes, of course.
Did I say your last name right?
Yeah, you actually got it.
Yes.
Most people don't, so.
I've read your last name like 20 times and tried pronouncing it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So many different possibilities, I guess.
Absolutely. Now, one thing, what got you interested in math and data analytics?
So honestly, I came into Doane as a freshman. I thought I was going to be an engineer. Just didn't really know where I was going exactly with it, but just thought that was like a good starting point, just a good career maybe to go into. But I got into it and didn't really love it, I guess, you know. Mm-hmm. I didn't really have a passion for it, it seemed like at the time. And in my Calc 1 class, actually, my professor told us about the Math and Data Analytics program, and I immediately was like, yes, that's for me. I've always been really into math and stuff, and then that kind of introduced me to like the different classes I've taken with like data visualization and like other data classes. And that's when I really fell in love with like the data part and also other parts of math. But I just really started getting interested in the data. I've always been interested in statistics, like baseball statistics. I've really enjoyed. So
absolutely, yeah. And I know you've done some really interesting things in math. You did a research project on baseball. Would you mind telling me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so after my freshman year here, I was able to do a research project with 2 professors and another student. And what we did is we took data from this thing called a Rapsodo, which is a high-speed camera, and it gives you a bunch of statistics on pitching and just spin rate of a baseball, all this crazy stuff, pretty complicated. And we actually got that from the Doane baseball team, which I'm a part of, which was pretty cool. I got to use
cool.
my own data. But it was, and we were pretty much just trying to almost duplicate a study that the MLB has done, just on a smaller scale, to see if the NAIA baseball is similar to the research that the MLB has done.
So
on that.
That's kind of a unique opportunity. Going into math allowed you to get further involved with something else that you're passionate about, that being baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a unique thing there. I don't think a lot of people would realize how much math and data analytics is involved in something like a sport.
Right, yeah. Whenever I tell people I'm a math major, they're like, so you want to be a math teacher? I'm like, yeah, I get why you're saying that, but no. There's so many more opportunities than that. I think for me, one of my dream jobs with the math major being applied would be to be a data scientist, doing something where I can maybe still be a part of baseball, where I'm looking at baseball statistics and like helping athletes or helping a team get better.
Right. Yeah, and I've actually seen a few job openings for some major league teams where they were looking for somebody who could come in, analyze the data, and certainly that's useful. I know just on your team. Now, question, I know Doane's baseball team had a really stellar year last year. You want to take any of the credit for that?
I don't know about that, but I mean, maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it's really cool because we got to look at a bunch of that data from all of our pitchers, and the pitchers did pretty well last year, so it was pretty cool to see some of it translate into games. So
Yeah, it helps that, I mean, we're working with such a great team of individuals.
Yeah.
So now you also did an internship in math and data analytics.
Yes, it wasn't for like a data analytics company or anything. It was actually for a sports marketing company and partnerships company, actually, based out of Denver. And so what they do is they work with like a company like Western Union. So Western Union has a partnership with the Nuggets, Denver Nuggets. And so pretty much what they do is they analyze a bunch of data and tell Western Union what is going to be effective for their sponsorships and like logos and all that stuff. So what I got to do was look at a bunch of data out of this website called YouGov, and then put that into visualizations, like a little data snapshot for these companies, and to show them why their company or their partnerships are doing well or why they could do better.
So you're basically what you were doing as an intern. Now you're only a junior right now.
Correct.
So as a sophomore intern, you were helping big companies make decisions about where to go and as far as marketing and where to go as far as being more effective.
Yeah, I wasn't huge in the decision process, but it was really cool because I got to help them, or I got to see what they were doing and also like put together a couple things for them. Most of the time I was doing like coffee runs and getting lunch and stuff, but
Typical intern.
yeah, exactly. But it was still really cool to be able to see that stuff, and also like they're working with sports team, which is one of my passions, so it was kind of a perfect fit.
Right. So you gotta kind of take all of your different areas of expertise, your interest in just understanding math, your expertise in being able to use math, and you get to use that out in the real world now to impact the way decisions are made.
Yep. And I think Doane, even in my first 2 years as a freshman and a sophomore, really, I learned a lot about just being professional and being able to learn while on the job, because I think that was one of the biggest things during my internship was really, I didn't really know what I was doing all the time, but just being able to ask questions and problem solve. I think that was the biggest thing. Is here at Doane, I've learned a lot about problem solving instead of just learning how to do a problem and that's it, but actually digging deeper into the problem and being able to solve multiple problems that are similar.
Okay. So what would you say, now you have grown a lot since you were in high school. Clearly you understand a little bit more about where you want to go in life. What do you say is the biggest thing you've learned as you've pursued your math and data analytics career?
I think it would honestly be just asking questions in the right places. Just knowing that if you need help, you should get it instead of just trying to do it on your own. I know for me, being here at Doane, it's really easy to talk to professors and ask a bunch of questions. So using like office hours, stuff like that has really helped me just grow my knowledge a lot, I think, just because those are questions that I would not get answered otherwise, of course. So.
Right. Well, I think you've certainly done a lot of very interesting things here. I appreciate your time coming on. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good luck in your next 2 years and finishing up your degree here at Doane.
Sweet. Thank you.
So for our next visitor here on our STEM virtual day, we have Tyler Sullivan. Tyler is a senior engineering student here at Doane pursuing a civil engineering emphasis. Tyler is done an internship already. He has been a part of several different associations, including the basketball team here at Doane. I want to talk a little bit about engineering here with Tyler. So first of all, thank you, Tyler, for coming on the live stream.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like I've seen you a lot this week. I have several classes with you. What got you interested in engineering?
I was always pretty strong in math and physics. I liked physics class in high school. And I also liked working with my hands, like building sheds, decks. So I just wanted to find a way where I could take that a step further. And I just really also liked just the challenge of engineering where everything's a problem and you're trying to solve it.
So now you're currently pursuing civil engineering as a career path. What got you interested in civil engineering?
Like I said, I kind of really liked the construction aspect of things when I was younger. And so just trying to find a way to take that a step further. Because civil engineering is really just the designs of things that are going to be constructed.
Now, I know you did an internship this last summer. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what you did there?
Yeah, so I worked at a E&A consulting group in Omaha. I was a part of one of their land development teams, and we focused mainly on residential developments. So that just really entails designing the grading. So like a client will bring you a cornfield or empty plot of land, and you got to make that buildable. So that's, like I said, it's going to start with grading. Then you're going to design all the sewer systems that go in with that, and then even the roads and paving that go through that.
Now, I know one of the first experiences in civil engineering that you had while you were here at Doane was you were working with the city of Crete. Can you tell me a little bit about that project?
Yeah, so the city of Crete has plans to address future roadway problems and infrastructure problems. And the city engineer of Crete allowed us to kind of help with one of those roadways they had identified that is in need of improvement. So there was a little one-block roadway, and we were able to kind of start doing the survey of it and then start looking at the design for what needs to be removed, and then what that final roadway will actually look like upon construction completion.
I remember I was overseeing that project, and you got to meet with several very interesting people. You got to see some plans, and I know as a result of that project, you came out very excited about transportation engineering. Are you still interested in doing transportation engineering?
Yes, but not just fully immerse myself in transportation. My internship this summer really kind of got me into land development. And from that aspect, like I was kind of saying, there's so many different parts of civil engineering that come in together in land development. So while I still will be doing some transportation engineering with the roadways that go through developments, that won't just be my sole focus.
Now, I think I've talked to a lot of different businesses, and one of the big criticisms they have specifically of civil engineers is that they come out of school and they say, well, I'm a transportation engineer, and that's all I know how to do. That's where I'm comfortable. That's where I'm stuck. It sounds to me like you're coming out of school and you're saying, well, I can do this, but I can also do this over here. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you really could go anywhere in civil engineering?
Yeah, definitely. one of the cool things about being here at Doane was you guys really empower us to not put yourself in one little way of doing things. Is you want us to be comfortable and confident doing everything. Especially in civil engineering, everything is so interconnected that I feel like I could do any part of civil engineering.
Now, you've also been, you're a project manager for a project right now. Can you tell me a little bit about the project you're working on here at Doane?
Yeah, so I'm working with a team that's working with the city of Lincoln, doing some various site development projects around Lincoln. And so right now the big part, there's a parking lot that's being redone, and we're just kind of helping with plan review, taking some site visits, and doing some cost estimates and just learning kind of how the city engineers work and what they look at. We're also doing some site visits with some structural engineers to kind of see their process for assessing buildings and structures. Really just anything that the city needs a little bit of help on, or things that we can just get some more insight on.
So this is a little different than what you did even over the summer and what you've done for past civil engineering projects. What kinds of things are you learning as a part of this project?
Yeah, this is not like normally engineering projects you're doing design work. This is more kind of like everything else that goes along with the design work. So it's really just kind of learning engineering from a different perspective is kind of how I look at it, which is good because it's all interconnected with city engineers and design professionals.
So you're actually working with the government here on this project. Now I know you worked for a private firm, E&A Consulting, when you did your internship. How different is it working with a government agency rather than a private firm?
So we were in a meeting with the City of Lincoln with one of their projects, and it was really interesting how they kind of are like the top dog, so they have to play like almost parent with all the private businesses around their development, and they kind of have to appease everybody and make everyone happy. We're more on the private side, this is the best way we think we're going to do it, and they're just trying to push that no matter what and really not trying to kind of appease everybody.
So can you tell me a little bit about what are your dreams in life? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself in that land development field. Eventually I want to get into project management because I love working in teams. And that's what I just want to learn as much as I can up until that point to where I can feel comfortable strongly leading a team of civil engineers.
So you've got a job offer already. And I know this is even for me as a professor, it's a little crazy for me to see that because it seems like this happened really soon. Are you nervous to start your first day for your new job?
I'm honestly really not. I feel like I've been well prepared through my internship and my experience here at Doane. I'm excited for the challenge of working with a different company, and I'm excited to see where it leads me.
So if somebody else was interested in going into the career of civil engineering or any of those structural engineering, wastewater engineering, transportation engineering, what kind of advice would you have for somebody who may be wanting to follow in your shoes?
I think site visits are probably one of like the most important things I think a civil engineer can do. It's one thing to kind of do all the math and design work and look at things on like a modeling program, but going to see it in the field can bring a lot more insight than just what the computer screen says. Like, for example, one of the land developments, one of the big things is when you're putting sewer under roadways, you have to encase it and you have to drill it horizontally. And so actually this past week we were able to go out and shadow a company that does just horizontal boring and drilling and see actually they were doing an encasing of a water main. And so that was really interesting to see because I didn't know what that looked like in the field from this past summer. And so then I actually got to see the real world application of it.
And you did that as a part of a class, didn't you?
Yes, that was part of our surveying class. They horizontal drilling and boring company, they came in and talked to us, then took us on one of their projects. So.
Yeah. Well, I know as much as I want to sit around and ask you questions about how great I am as your engineering professor, I'll probably hold off on that. Do you have any final comments that you say about the engineering career as a whole? Like, do you think that this is a career that other people should go into?
Yeah, definitely. Just the way like things are always going to need redesigned, rebuilt, maintained, and civil engineers will always be at the forefront of that.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on the live stream. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next guest. Our next guest is Regan Peterson. She is going into pre-med, and I'm going to be asking her a few questions about her time here at Doane, about her interests, and kind of some of her career paths that she can take. Regan, you want to come sit down?
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the live stream. I appreciate your time here.
Yes.
You want to tell me a little bit about yourself?
So I am a senior at Doane University. I'm a biochemistry major, Spanish minor.
And what got you interested in biology as a whole?
So I had a really good chemistry teacher in high school, and I also really enjoyed my biology classes. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with that, but I knew I wanted to study that when I came to Doane. So that kind of high school got me interested in this field.
So what does it mean? You said you're in biochemistry. What does it mean to be a biochemistry major?
So you're studying the life sciences, but also the chemistry behind it. So you're kind of applying both to the study of life, basically, living organisms.
So have you had, what kind of things have you done here at Doane that have really opened your eyes to the kinds of opportunities that are available in biochemistry?
So I do participate in molecular biology research here at Doane. And with that, we basically study like protein-protein interactions using microscopy. There's also plenty of classes where you're applying like biochemistry. For instance, we're in the lab a lot, and we get to see the aspect of doing different lab techniques and how you can combine both biology and chemistry to study it.
That sounds really complex.
Yeah.
Did you know how to do that when you came to this university?
No, I had no idea what I was doing when I came.
So at what point did you learn? I will admit some of those words are a little bit more complex than even I know. I may have a PhD, but I'm no expert in biochemistry. At what point did you really learn some of those principles of how to do that?
So they're introductory bio classes at Doane, and they kind of help lay a basis for your understanding of biology. And biology is a huge field, so there's so much different things to learn. So it wasn't until like my sophomore and junior year that I really started getting a better understanding of biochemistry and biology, just because there's so many different aspects of it.
So now you're a senior, and I know this is about the time of year when most seniors are looking for jobs and trying to think about their future. What would be, do you know what kind of job you want to get for your first job out of college?
So I am trying to get into med school right now, so it's going to be a long time before I get my first actual job. But after completing med school, I want to be a pathologist and then eventually a forensic pathologist.
What do pathologists do?
So basically they test tissues and when you go to the doctor and they take samples and they send it to the lab, and pathologists are the ones who test that. So it's basically a doctor in the lab.
When did you, at what point did you figure out that was something you were interested in?
In between my freshman and sophomore year, I had no idea what a pathologist was, and during class, a professor was talking about it and introduced a pathologist, and I did some research. I had no idea what it was, and I really enjoy my time in labs, and so that kind of got my interest in it. And then I worked in the lab at a hospital, and so I got to see firsthand pathologists at work, and like it really inspired me, and I thought it was fascinating.
So which hospital did you work at?
St. Elizabeth's in Lincoln.
I'm very familiar with that hospital. What kind of things did you do while you were working at St. Elizabeth's?
So I did COVID testing in the lab. So basically I took the samples you get when you get swabbed, and I ran PCR reactions on them and tested to see if there's COVID present or not.
What is PCR?
It's kind of complicated. You probably will learn about it here at Doane or any university, but it's a polymerase chain reaction. So it's basically, it goes through cycles. It gets a little complicated, but I'll explain it here.
It's interesting. From my perspective, it's interesting for you as a college student to be able to, talk about these things when, I know when I was a high school student, all of those terms would have just absolutely blown me away.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, a lot of high school students really dealing with that are going, I don't have any idea what that even means. You can explain what PCR means, but that doesn't mean those are real words.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself, how do you see yourself as having grown since you've been in high school? And you're a senior now, you've been in college for 4 years. Certainly you have a different perspective on life. How have you grown over the last 4 years here at Doane?
So I think when I came here at Doane, I wasn't really open to trying new things and branching out. And I think throughout my time here at Doane, I've really learned how to learn first off and how to try out new things and just have fun, experience things.
I know you want to be a pathologist. With your biochemistry degree, what else could you do with that? Where else could you go?
There's a lot of different things you can do with either biology degree, biochemistry degree. You can really go into education, research, med fields. It's such a broad topic that you can really do whatever you want with it. You can go into genetics, genetic testing.
So the nice feature about this is even though you know you want to be a pathologist, you have a lot of other career options that you could fall back on if maybe you get into med school and you say, wow, this other opportunity opened up for me. You really have a lot of places you can go. Say somebody else was interested in biochemistry or interested in some of the fields or maybe even looking into pre-med. What kind of advice would you have for someone like that?
I would say make sure you go out and job shadow, get research opportunities. There's plenty of research opportunities here at Doane. Just going out and seeing what other fields there are and experiencing it firsthand can really help you, because just reading about it's not going to tell you as much as actually seeing it firsthand. So.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on everything you've done here. Thank you for coming onto the live stream, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Our next guest is an environmental studies major, Jackson Stengard. He is, I know I just butchered his last name, but he is an environmental studies major here at Doane. Jackson is going to come here and talk a little bit about his experience in environmental studies, his passions, and what he's doing on in his life. So, Jackson, you want to come sit down?
Absolutely.
First of all, it's Stensgaard, right?
Yes, sir. It is
Okay.
Stensgaard.
My apologies.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. I have heard 10 times worse than that. It's okay.
People butcher my last name too. I just try not to be that guy,
No, you're fine. No worries.
So what got you interested in environmental studies?
Funny enough, I was kind of on the same plan as Regan, where I came here with a biochemistry design, at least. I want to get into pharmacy, so that was kind of my one-track mind coming out of high school, was I have to do biochemistry. I have to go in this route only to get to where I want to go. And I went to a community college, and I showed up here my junior year, and I started to realize there were so many different opportunities that were present for me, not just in education, but like life in general. I didn't know that there were job opportunities and things that I was really passionate about other than pharmacy. And that's still a dream for me, is pharmacy, but there's this idea that you can achieve other things beyond what you had your mind set to do. And I think going in that route and pursuing environmental science has kind of opened me up to say, okay, we can do things with potentially agriculture. There's things that you can do with climatology. I mean, there's so many different routes that you can go with an environmental science degree. It's such a broad field.
Right.
And I think that drew me to it right away, and immediately I picked up on it, and I knew I was going to love it.
So this is something where you came out of college, of community college, having these passions in biochemistry even, but then you explored your other passions, and you've now found yourself in a different field entirely.
Absolutely. It took me until I was about 20 or 21 years old to realize that I actually like this stuff. And you don't have to have all the answers out of high school. I think that's something that high school teachers stress, that you want to have at least some kind of a plan, but that plan can change in the snap of a finger. I mean, that stuff just happens from time to time, and there's no shame in it.
So what is your interest in the environment? Or is this I know a lot of current students, they're very familiar with climate change and that type of study.
Absolutely.
But what other kinds of interests do you have in the environment as a whole?
Well, and me getting into environmental science, it started with me being in an organic chemistry class here with Andrea Holmes. And we were doing some different things with hemp and cannabis, studying the cannabinoid systems and how you can exploit different profiles of plants to understand, okay, this plant will help this person in this situation. So if you think to yourself, okay, well, this is the plant that we want, these are the profiles that we want for our plants, what can we do on the front end of genetic engineering? And that would be kind of like the biology aspect of it. But then you can look at the agriculture and say, okay, this is really where it starts. We can have the genetic engineering of the seed, and then from there we can mess with the soil, we can play around with how much sunlight and water and whatever nutrients that you want to add to it. So I initially got into it because of the agriculture portion of it. Since then, I've gotten a lot more into the climate change side of it personally. It's just kind of like, again, you never know what one path you're going to go on. But I think, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I rattled off for a second there. No, I kind of went off guard.
You're doing great.
No, I lost my train of thought. I apologize.
That's okay. Yeah, I can ask it any questions. We can keep going. Yeah. You're not a trained professional here.
No.
As I said at the beginning of the live stream, I didn't tell you what to say here, so I have no idea what's going to happen. I just try to guide things with questions.
Yep.
So now you've mentioned agriculture as a career choice. I've known some graduates from Doane who've gone into environmental studies, who've gone into places like they've gone into work with manufacturing plants and in the environmental setting. Some of them have gone and worked out in the field, maybe going out to do park ranger work.
Right.
What kind of opportunities could you pursue outside of just where you think where you want to go?
Yeah, so you can go and you can be a game warden. You can go and work with renewable energies in terms of wind and solar. You could even consider nuclear energy on that spectrum if you wish to. I know there's room for environmental engineers as well. I think that'll be a little bit later on in the show with Jenna. But there are so many different things. And the thing that people don't realize about Doane is you can go anywhere in the nation and people are going to know that you came from Doane. I mean, I came from a town in Arizona. I had no idea what Doane was before I came here. And I talk to people from time to time, and it's like everybody has some kind of tie to this university. So it's not even just the major and what you can do with it, it's where you can go, and you can go anywhere.
And I've certainly seen that Doane grads are very passionate about Doane because
Absolutely.
it's a very unique environment where we do a lot of hands-on learning. And I know you've done a lot of hands-on learning in your classes. You want to tell me about some of the field trips that you've taken?
Oh my goodness, yes. So even just this semester alone, we have gone and visited an ethanol plant where they take corn and they turn it into biofuels that you can add towards gasolines. They have taken us to sanitary landfill plants, which are different from a dump. That has been clarified to me more than 3 or 4 times. We have gone to coal-fired power plants. We have taken a weekend trip up to the Niobrara River and camped and kayaked and understood the ecosystem that's involved in the northern part of Nebraska. Oh my goodness, you can just go, the list goes on and on. We've had even, we had a former Nebraska senator come and visit with us talking about climate change for one of our lab sessions. So it's not just where you go and the things that you learn, it's the people that can bring the knowledge to you too, which was really interesting to me and something that I never thought of before I got into this.
And all of those are very, very unique experiences that they show you different areas, because every one of those visits that you had is a different aspect of environmental studies that you could pursue there.
Absolutely. The field is so broad, you can go in any direction you want to, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, if somebody was interested in going into environmental studies or had any curiosity about environmental studies, would you have any advice for them?
Yes, reach out to anybody and everybody that comes into your path. We have Russ Sochek, Blake Kolkashar, we have ecology professors such as Brad Elder, we have Tessa Durham-Brooks on site. Go in and visit with them in their office hours. Go make friends with your classmates. Have the people that come in and talk to you on a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly basis. Make those relationships. That way when you move on from your undergrad, you've got a million different opportunities and a bunch of people that can reach out to you. It's good to be a good person too. Obviously, you want to make those relationships,
Right.
but like it helps you out in the future when you're 10 years down the line and you're thinking to yourself, hey, I might want to move. I might need another job lined up. These are the people that you can rely on and that can be really good people in your corner. So build those relationships, have trust and faith in the people that you're with, and there's a lot of good things that can come from it.
Well, I want to thank you for your time.
No,
I really
you.
appreciate this visit. Certainly, you've had a lot of very interesting experiences here.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on your studies so far, and good luck finishing up your degree.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our next guest is Sean Murray. Sean is an engineering student here at Doane, pursuing a mechanical engineering emphasis. Sean is one of my students, and I know him pretty well. I've known him since he was a freshman. So I'm going to ask Sean about some of his experiences coming to Doane, how he's made the decisions on where he wants to be in life, and talk about some of his future goals. So, Sean, you want to come sit down with me?
Yeah. How you doing, Kev?
Hey, how you doing? I feel like I just saw you recently.
Yeah.
I know all of you engineers way too well, so it's kind of a very, very cordial discussion, because I know we have a lot of conversations even outside of just classes and regular advising.
Yeah.
How did you end up at Doane?
Oh, that's that's a question I get asked like a lot. And basically, one of the board of trustees from Doane, he's from Panama, and he graduated from Doane maybe like 20, 25 years ago. And we go to the same church, and I talked to him about like challenging myself, like trying to do something different, like coming outside of my comfort zone. And he helped me apply to Doane, and he helped me in my application and all the process and everything, and getting scholarships and all of that. And that's why how I decided to come here.
So now, I know when you came in, you were really interested in vibration analysis and acoustic engineering. You really wanted to go into acoustic engineering. Are you still interested in acoustic engineering?
I'm not longer interested, but I remember coming here to Doane, I wanted to combine music and engineering, and that was the one way that I could do both. And then I found out that there's so many other things that I could do with engineering, and I got so much in love with more like heat transfer and thermodynamics and and fluids and all that. So now I'm like in the mechanical spectrum of engineering.
I blame Joel for that. I have never been good at thermodynamics and fluids. I'm more of a solid mechanics person.
Yeah.
So now it sounds like a lot of the direction and the passions that you found, they were really realized by getting more experience in engineering. So I know you've done a number of projects here. I know you've done an internship this past summer. What kinds of things have you done in engineering that have opened your eyes to different types of engineering opportunities?
Yeah, I would say that starting from my sophomore year, the different classes that I was exposed to, that kind of opened my eye to what's out there and what are the different possibilities to do with engineering, not just what I thought it would be just acoustical, like what I really wanted to, and just being like learning new stuff every single day and being exposed to all of that. So my first classes in my sophomore year, my sophomore project, which was trying to build up an engineering workshop for the university. And then on my internship last summer, I was part of the manufacturing part, so I will help on the designing the CADs, designing different structures, and like drawing on SolidWorks and all that. So I got exposed to that part too. So I kind of wanted to do more of that, more of the manufacturing, more of the coming up with idea of a system that could help maybe the forging machines, or maybe the braiding machine. So that kind of like exposed me to that and opened my eyes to a new spectrum of the mechanical engineer. So that kind of helped me with that.
Well, it's good. It is really good that you've had those kinds of experiences, because I know it's helped you be a more well-rounded person. I know as your advisor, it's been enjoyable for me to get to see how things have changed for you over the past 4 years, how your interests have grown, how your interests have changed. Now, you want to tell me a little bit more about your internship? I know you showed me some pictures. You had to show me pictures the first day we saw each other at the beginning of the semester. What kinds of things did you design as a part of your internship?
Yeah, so at the beginning, I was helping with the fixtures. So basically, Malco, they make hand tools. So they have different machines that will make different machining process. So like riveters or forging machines or broaching machines. So I helped them get the CADs or like the drawings for the different fixtures of the riveters. And that kind of helped me to practice more of my SolidWorks kind of like help like skills. And that was one of the first things I did. And then they came in with a new project. So they wanted to create a system that could spray a lubricant into the forging machine so that the user don't need to do it, and it will take less of their time. So I came up with an idea of using compressed air and use that to build a pneumatic system that will automate it, do the spraying inside of the forging machine with the lubricant, and it would just be with a button. So like they would just press the button and the machine will spray in and out and then will forge. So I had to like learn all the pneumatic systems and valves and everything. So they helped me getting all the different components, and then build it and then design it, because I had to do like the structure and everything, the box around it, and then the different valves inside. And then we tried it, and it actually worked. So it's been working for now 2 months, and they have designed 3 of those, so to put
Wow.
in the 3 other forging machines.
Yeah, you did this as just a junior student.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear that you've already made an impact in the manufacturing world just with what you've done. Now, I know I never taught you about how to build pneumatic systems. We haven't had any projects in that regards. How did you figure out how to do that?
I think with the different projects that I've been working here, being exposed to something new helped me pass that challenge or pass that obstacle of like, I don't know what to do, what should I do? So I was just kind of thrown out there to be like, okay, I have to do this. I got to just figure it out. And I look up different books. I talk to different engineers there because they have been working with compressed air like pneumatic systems for so long, and ask them for some ideas. And then based on those ideas, based from what I learned from like circuits and like other things that I can relate to, it helped me to build a base of like knowledge to work with to get that project working.
So it's interesting that even though you weren't taught how to do a pneumatic system, you were able to show up, and this was the first internship you've had. You showed up to your first internship, and you already made an impact, not only on Malco, but you've made an impact on the future of how that process is going to occur there. So, yeah, congratulations on that. I did not know that. I thought I knew you better than this. I guess I need to be studying your successes a little better. Now, you have a lot of different options that are available to you in mechanical engineering. I know I'm a mechanical engineer by trade as well, and which is why I do teach a lot of the more mechanical-minded courses here. You've mentioned a lot about manufacturing. I know you have plans to go to graduate school next year. What got you interested in going to graduate school?
So what got me interested was most of how prepared I want to be when I go to back to Panama or wherever I want to go to work. And it's just the curiosity and research that I want to do. I want to know more about the field in engineering, because there's so many things that we can do. There's so many new components that we can bring, ideas that we can have, and the creativity has no boundaries in engineering. And I just want to be able to explore all of that. And having that opportunity, I think I just got to go beyond just undergraduate and my bachelor's and just getting a master's. But what I also want to like know more in energy systems, or like how different HVAC systems can work, because that's what I'm kind of interested in right now.
I think one of the interesting features about what we've done with our engineering program is we try to give you a very general view, so that we try to expose you to all the different kinds of engineering opportunities. I know one of the nice things about going to graduate school is you really get to get a lot more exposure in one area that you're interested in, and become more of an expert in that one area. So I know when we first talked back 4 years ago, I was very strongly into acoustics engineering. When you go to grad school, what do you want your emphasis to be now?
Yeah, so as of right now, I want my emphasis to be in energy systems. So anything related to, I would say, HVAC systems too, and how can we manage energy in different systems. So like dams or hydroelectric dams too, things like that. That's one I want to focus on.
Okay. So there are certainly a lot of different areas that are available to you there. What would you say that your dream job is?
Wow. I think that my dream job would be a place that I can every single day challenge myself with something new, with a new project, or maybe not like a new project, but like a new step of the project, and that I can see the progress of it and just work along with it. And it's kind of broad, because I don't know the specifics of what I will be working with, but it's just having the experience to challenge myself every single day to wake up and be like, okay, I have to work on this. I have to continue to get working on this, and just seeing that progress every day, and just bettering what the company wants to do.
Now, this is, I think it's interesting that you mentioned here that you don't know exactly what you're going to get into. And do you think that's a little scary that you don't know where you're going to end up?
Yeah, that's a little bit scary for me because there's, as I said, like, still as of right now that I'm a senior, I can still find so many opportunities, and they're all for me enjoyable. I think I could fit in any of those. So finding the best one for me is still one of my goals, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm just worried right now of like how am I gonna get there? But it's kind of scary, yeah, but I'll get there. I know I'll get there.
Yeah, I know you're a good student, and I know I've enjoyed having you in my classes, and I've enjoyed being able to teach you and watch you grow, certainly. So it's been a journey for me as well, because not just seeing you grow, but also understanding what can I do to challenge you next. You're one of those students who I think, you know, I've thrown some pretty crazy projects at you, and every time I throw a crazy project at you, you're like, well, I'll just jump in there and I'll jump right in. I know we were doing the project with the solar panels in EGR 350, and you always had very interesting questions to ask about the project, because as you're moving through it, you're trying to work through the intricate dynamics of it, but you wanted to get everything perfectly right, and you wanted to just understand the very foundations of everything that was going on, and to a point where I even had to just say, whoa, I think you're getting a little bit too much into this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely see that you have that kind of potential, and I've appreciated you being a good student. Now, I know you said you came from Panama. Has it been a challenge for you studying in the U.S. coming from Panama?
Yeah, so since the beginning, it has been a challenge, but it hasn't been that bad or that difficult to do because of how Doane has treated me since the beginning. Doane opened everything for me and helped me through every single step. I think it's not just Doane, but like Doane's community. They make me feel like I'm home, like my home away from home. And every single step I have been taking along my career here at Doane, I feel confident enough to continue going forward. And I think like I will never regret my decision of coming here to Doane because I just love it. That's why I stay, and that's why I wanted to graduate from here and be a proud Tiger. So.
What do you think is it that makes Doane different from other universities?
I think that Doane will actually care about you, like will actually be there the whole time. And even what I feel is like not my professors, like you are always, I've been there and helping me, and whenever I have like a difficulty or something, I know that I can come to you and ask you, and everything will work out. And even that with my friends too, and with my coach, and with every single person here at the university, like the staff and everything is so approachable that I can feel confident enough and safe enough to just go and ask and go forward with whatever I want to do, which it's kind of different maybe in any other university, but here there's a closer connection.
Now, I know engineering as a whole, it was really new here at Doane when you first started. So you did take kind of a risk coming here. We aren't yet ABET accredited. We're in the process of pursuing ABET accreditation, but you did take a risk coming in here. I know it's just from my perspective, it's been a big labor to try to make sure that this has been worthwhile for you, that this is actually helping you grow. I will say you will always be one of our success stories. Certainly you, Tyler, Jenna, who will be on in a little bit, all of you really speak well of our program, not just our program, but also our university. You really embody the Doane Tiger mentality. So I want to thank you for your time here. I appreciate you coming on and talking. I'll see you in class next week.
Yeah. Thank you, Cam.
Yeah, I'll see you later, Sean. Our next guest is Derek McCormick. Derek is a computer science and computing major here at Doane. He's in his senior year. I've had the good fortune of being able to work with Derek on a project before. So this is it's a conversation that I've had before, and I'm having again. So Thank you for coming on, Derek. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. I really appreciate it, having me on.
So let's start out. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm a senior computer science major from Loveland, Colorado. Really like working with computers, big sports fan, yeah. And, yeah.
That helps. Yeah. Any which sport in particular, or?
Enjoy watching basketball, playing basketball, like to ski, just big sports fan.
Yeah. Well, and you're a really tall guy too.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if this does it justice, but I'm 6'1" and he dwarfs me. So, what got you interested in pursuing computer science?
Yeah, so there was a class in high school, just to fill a requirement. I really wasn't looking forward to it. It was a computer class, and I really enjoyed it. And then the next class was an HTML class and a coding class, and it really was just a snowball effect from there, where I just kept taking more classes and I really started to enjoy it.
So, what kind of things do you do as a part of computer science?
Solving problems, using computing, giving instructions to a computer to help solve problems like coding, programming, yeah.
And that's a very broad field. And
It
it's-
is. Yeah.
It seems like in today's world, everything is involving some aspects of coding.
Yeah, it is. It's a very broad field that touches everything. Technology is everywhere, and it's in high demand because of that.
I know it's one of the few fields, like, I know you've probably got a phone on you, I've got a phone on me. I mean, even if you look at the cameras, the way that they're hooked up in this room, we are surrounded by coding that is controlling our lives right now. So it's interesting to see, just from your passion, like how many things. When I was having a conversation with Mark Meisenberg, and he says one of the things he likes to do in his classes is he says, shut off everything that uses any kind of a microchip and see how that impacts you.
Yeah.
Now, you worked on a project with me last year. This wasn't as a part of a class at all, but this was just, you took it on your own, out of your own interest. You were curious in it. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what you did for that project?
Yeah, I created, or me and another classmate of mine created an animatronic controller, GUI interface controller for the Omaha Children's Museum. I think that project really showed me like in my course at Doane, I learned the software development process and how that should work, and it kind of gave me time to practice it and really apply what I learned, and made me learn lessons about the software development process that I took into my internship, knowing how it worked and how it, like, what the challenges of it are.
What do you mean by software development? What is that?
So the software development process is an agile, or most of the time, depending what company you're going to, but an agile practice is the best way to do it. But it's the way we develop code and structure and make code and produce code. But going through design, starting from design to implementing that design, and then verification, and security thrown in pieces by pieces into those steps.
That sounds really complex. This again goes above my level of experience here. Now, you didn't know how to do any of that when you came to Doane.
No, I definitely have grown as a problem solver. I don't think, when I came here, I had this, like, I haven't, even with those computer classes, I really didn't understand the whole dynamic computer science, and I really didn't know how to problem solve until I got here in the computer science world. I just thought I was going to come here and learn how to code, but that's really not the truth. Is you're coming here to learn how to pick up languages. You're going to pick up the basics of object-oriented programming, but you're really here to learn. So because when you go out to the field, you're going to continue to learn almost every year, I would imagine, because of technology moving up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, just even in like machine learning, the machine learning algorithms that have been produced in the last 5 years have revolutionized that field, and to the point where I know there are computer science professors who are struggling to keep up with the modern state of what all this technology is.
Yeah.
it's certainly a field that as an engineer, I like sitting back and saying, most of the stuff we know, we've known for centuries. But yeah, computing, it's such a dynamic field. So as a part of that, though, you're going to have to continue to grow throughout your life.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a learning process, and I kind of thought about how, like, I'm graduating this year, but the freshmen this year are going to learn totally new things that I didn't learn when I'm here, because everything's changing so fast.
Right. So now that's got to be a little scary for you, because you've got kids that are going into school 4 years from now, or even currently starting school, who are already going to understand things you don't understand when you graduate.
Yeah, I think that is a little scary, but that's just the nature of how technology works, and you have to be a lifelong learner.
Right. And do you think Doane has prepared you to be a lifelong learner?
Yeah. I think Mark and Alec have really, and other professors in my other classes have really pushed me to really invest my time into looking into what I'm learning, trying to solve problems. When I'm writing a web app, I'm looking into options for myself and looking into, hey, I could do it this way, but the other way is faster, more efficient, should I take that way? And really looking outside the box.
Yeah. So now, if there was a young high school student or someone who's interested in going into the field of computer science and computing, what kind of advice would you have for them?
I would tell them to start doing just any project in computing in any area that they're interested in. Find things that you find interesting. If it's that old computer in your basement, take it apart and see all the parts and try to put it back together and see if it starts up again. Or go online, there's plenty of tutorials, free tutorials, that you can pick up a new language, or create a website from scratch, and just try things in the computing world. And there's a lot out there. It can be overwhelming, but find things that you're interested in and start projects. It's like, that's the easiest way or the most efficient way to learn, I guess.
Well, I appreciate your time. Certainly, thank you for coming on here. Good luck in your senior year of study as you get to graduate and you're headed out to a career in I know there's tons of jobs available. So, congratulations on your success so far.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, our next guest is Jenna Ryan Pisecki. I've always struggled with your last name.
It's a hard one.
It is. There's a hyphen in there. It's just so many letters. Now, Jenna, you are a senior engineering student here at Doane.
Yep.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I guess I can give my Doane intro real quick.
Go for
so it's the easiest one. So I'm Jenna Ryan Pisecki. I'm from Castle Rock, Colorado. My major is environmental engineering, and then activities that I've done on campus have been volleyball. I'm president of the Society of Women Engineers program, or club, and then I also do work at the service center, which is just like the tech and stuff on campus. And then I'm also a Doane ambassador, so I give tours around campus. And then I'm also a community advisor on campus. So
I know you're involved everywhere.
yep, everywhere.
Now, why did you decide to get involved in so many activities?
I guess the biggest reason is I'm a super outgoing person, so I like to just be able to talk to a lot of people and be involved in a lot of different activities, doing different things. I do really well at keeping busy so that I can keep everything scheduled and organized, and I don't just have a lot of free time to just hang out.
Just do nothing.
Yeah, and then I also just like going into a lot of these different roles, like just to be a leader and stuff like that, just growing in leadership opportunities and stuff like that.
And I know I've seen you grow, because again, being an engineering student, I've known you for 4 years now.
Yep.
I know I've seen you grow, and some of it is because you have taken on these leadership opportunities. You have really pushed yourself here. Do you see all of these activities that you're engaged in, do you see them as something that's pushing you to be more successful in your life?
I think so, yeah. With any job, career, activity, anything like that after college, you're going to be put in situations where there's going to have to be a leader that steps up. And I think all of the different events and stuff that I've been to and had to participate in for leadership activities that I've been a part of on campus have just like helped me grow as that leadership person, so that if the time comes, I can step up and do things.
So I know you're an engineer, but you have an environmental engineering emphasis. Why did you decide to go with an environmental engineering emphasis?
Okay, so in high school, my senior year, I had this big dream that I wanted to save the environment, save the world, and I felt like engineering was going to be the best major to provide me with the best tools and stuff like that, so that I would be able to do that. Obviously now I've calmed down a little bit from that big dream, but I can still do a lot of that. So, I mean, freshman year, first day of class with you, you were like, everybody needs to find like 5 jobs that they can do with their emphasis, and then write a quick little excerpt about each of them. And I think that really opened my eyes to like what I was going to be able to do right out of college, and then what I could work for as I went along in a career. So, I mean, like right now I've been looking at jobs that specifically relate to like water resources engineering, or like wastewater, water treatment systems and stuff like that. So
It certainly sounds like you've had a major career shift. I know I can relate to that too. When I was in high school, I wanted to build a jet engine. Like that was my dream. And then that never happened. Although it still might, I don't know.
See?
No plans.
See?
So yeah, it's, as a part of your growth, you have, your mind has been opened up to all these different opportunities that you can pursue. Now, specifically with engineering, I know engineers, we all walk around because we think we're the greatest thing on the planet.
We are.
All right, we can just end the live stream there, right? No, but it really has opened up a bunch of opportunities for you outside of just working with the environment. There are a lot of things that you can do because you have a degree in engineering, even though you are interested in environmental studies. Can you say, what are some of the things that you could do moving on with your life as an engineer?
Yeah, I mean, I can do a lot of different things. So, like, since we get our just general engineering degree from Doane, I mean, realistically, I could go into any engineering field as long as I can have, like, prove that I have the skills to do it, which we learn with all the different softwares that you guys teach us. Just like the projects that we do in all of our classes, I don't just focus on environmental things when we're doing a class project. I get to focus on the design work and putting things together, and we've even gotten to do like some electronics things for me. But yeah, so even like my internship that I have in January, I'm not an environmental intern, I'm a civil engineering intern. So it's pretty cool that you get to bounce around and get a wide depth of knowledge of everything. But yeah.
Yeah, and that really has, I know with you moving forward, your career plans have changed. You've really, you've opened yourself up to be able to do a lot of things. Now I keep pushing you. I think eventually, with all of your leadership experience, I know one of these days you're going to end up as a project manager somewhere.
Yep, I've definitely been looking into that too. I think it would be a lot of fun and really promote my strengths.
Now one thing that engineers really struggle in, most engineers do, is communication. That is not one of your weaknesses.
It is not.
Now, I can say that speaks well to your capabilities here. Being a good communicator as an engineer, it really does set you up as a leader, because being a leader in any kind of community requires you to be a better communicator. So I know you also mentioned you're the president of the Society of Women Engineers, and you do all these other campus involvement. How does your natural communication abilities, how does that really help you to be a better leader in those settings?
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest one I guess is probably giving tours. You're going to get a lot of random questions thrown at you, and you have to be able to answer those questions in a way that doesn't quite scare the parents, but still keeps the kids interested in coming. But just like my communication skills through that is just like holding that conversation, asking questions, really actively listening to what people are asking from you and what they have to say and stuff, and responding in a way that makes sense for all parties involved.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned you have an internship coming up in this spring. What are you going to be doing as a part of that internship?
I think so. We've talked about it. It doesn't start till January, so we still have a few more meetings to like really solidify a lot of things.
Of course.
But they talked about a lot of like just like doing design work, stuff like that. I'll be working a lot with the water resources green team. So that, I mean, kind of just like what it sounds, they do like dams and stuff like that and wetland restoration kind of things. And then I'll also be working with a one of my coworkers that will be my coworker will be in Omaha, and she does a lot of the water treatment systems and design plans and stuff like that. And she said I could help out with her out doing that stuff too.
That sounds really technical.
Does.
I can honestly say, as an engineering professor, I can't teach you everything that you need to know to succeed. Are you worried about starting a position like this that is a little outside of your area? And
I mean, I guess I'm a little nervous just because, I mean, it's exciting and new and stuff like that, but I don't think that realistically I'll have any issues. I'll have any issues with, like, learning and stuff and knowing what I'm doing, just because you guys have given us the tools to teach us how to problem solve and how to learn and how to keep changing with current events and environments and stuff.
what do you think is the most useful thing you've learned here at Doane? I know you have to make a decision on which one, right?
I know. Okay, this one's always stuck with me, and I don't know if this is necessarily the answer you're looking for, but I remember that very first class that you taught us, Engineering 101 or whatever it was. You told us that we weren't going to be able to be super successful if we couldn't be able to communicate, which goes back to our conversation earlier, but say, just breaking it down super simple, say I wanted to create a product and I wanted to sell it. I can't sell it if I can't explain it to you. So I think I've tried to really stick with learning a lot of like more technical terms about things, but also keeping that like personable interaction with people too, that I felt like I kind of already had a little bit of coming in, but
You did.
learning the technical terms of stuff and just like understanding more that's going on in the engineering world so that I know what I'm talking about, but I can also present it to you in a way that you also know what I'm talking about in a sense. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
So, I know there's a lot of students in high school right now who are interested in engineering as a career choice. Would you have, what would you say to somebody who's interested in following your footsteps, maybe going into environmental engineering?
I know that it seems a little scary, senior year of high school, going into engineering, into college, and you might think that it's going to be like super hard and you're not going to be able to do it, but I promise you'll be able to do it. You can sit down. Yes, the math is long and hard, but you can do it. Just push through it, and the like projects and stuff that you get to work on are the biggest part that I feel like I've personally learned the most from working on projects with people. But that's the best part. So even though there's going to be hard parts in it, you just got to keep working through those so you can do the super fun stuff that is what you really want to do, and that brings you joy.
And I know, certainly I can speak to your character here. You have been a very hard worker, and in every class that I've had you, I've been able to rely on the fact that you may not understand what you're doing right off the bat, but you're going to put in all of the effort that's needed to really get to completion there. And it's made you a stellar student.
Thank you.
It's been a joy teaching you, although sometimes I pull my hair out, but
Okay.
she's ornery. But so am I, so I guess there's a
There you
little bit of I guess I can't really blame you too much. Well, I wanted to thank you for your time. Thank you for, I know you're supposed to be in class right now, so
It's all right.
you were really far ahead in that class at one point. Again, just a really hard worker. But thank you again for your time. I appreciate you coming on here and talking about your perspective, your experiences, and talking about everything you have here at Doane and everything that's exciting going on in your life. So,
Perfect. Thank
Thank
you
you,
for having
Jenna.
me. Yeah.
well, that's the last of our students for the live stream here at Doane. I did want to have a few concluding comments before we end the live stream. First of all, if you have found something interesting in this video, you can reach out to somebody here at Doane. We have a really good admissions team. They're willing to answer questions, and even if they can't answer the questions, they will be able to direct your questions elsewhere. Doane certainly does have a very unique environment. This is something where maybe I'll put in a little bit of a plug for Doane here because I work here for a reason. We do things differently. STEM here at Doane doesn't just mean sitting down and reading a textbook and taking a test, being able to perform multiple choice quizzes. Yes, all of those features are important, but really what we do here that's different, and you've certainly heard this from all of our students so far, is we do a lot of hands-on stuff, and it really does focus on broadening your perspectives. I know Tyler Sullivan one of the things that we talked about was that he came out of doing his sophomore design project in his engineering class. He did a lot of transportation engineering there. And following that experience, he was very excited about transportation engineering. But because we have a very diverse experience here, and because we try not to silo our students, I did push Tyler to pursue a different area. And as a result, he did end up changing his career goals, because he didn't just want, I didn't want him to go with something that he was comfortable with it. Because there's a difference between what you're comfortable with and what you're good at and what you're passionate about. And it turns out that he had a great amount of passion for something outside of just what he was comfortable with, which was transportation engineering. And that's something that we get the experience and we get the ability to do here at Doane. I know all of my students very well, interact with them, because we don't just have classroom experiences. This isn't something where I shut my door and I try to stay away from them. I encourage them to come talk to me. I know Jenna comes into my office all the time, and she writes on my whiteboard, which leaves some very interesting messages for the students who come after her. But it's the kind of relationships that we have here at Doane. We encourage our students to grow, not just as students, but as young professionals. Doane's motto is, "We build leaders." And really that is what we do. We encourage students to pursue their passions, we empower them to pursue their passions, and as a result, we form them into leaders who are going to be shifting the future. And certainly in STEM, there are STEM careers everywhere. STEM, the kinds of skills and experiences in STEM, they're so unique to the STEM field that STEM majors are consistently hireable. There's a consistent need for them, and there's only going to grow in more need for STEM majors in the future. So all of these different areas of STEM, from biochemistry, chemistry, environmental studies, computing, data analytics, engineering, all of these different areas of STEM are very relevant, and they're growing. And if you want something that's going to challenge you, and if you want something that's going to give you skills that are relevant, that are beneficial to the future, a STEM career is great. And certainly a STEM here at Doane, we do encourage all of those assets. But I want to thank you for your time and watching the live stream. Thank you for showing up. Hopefully you learned something, and be looking forward to some other videos being posted in the near future about other career opportunities in specific areas of STEM. Thank you.